Okay, I want to go through the guided reading for you. Um, and we're going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to upload these. You're going to have the worksheets. I would highly recommend you doing these so that it can help you with the test. So the first one is, this is lesson one, structures and principles of the U.S. Constitution. So the first thing is, what two opposite experiences of governmental power shaped the founders' approach to the Constitution? The first one was King George III of Great Britain. He was so tyrannical and so mean, I guess is a simpler word. He had too much power, so that kind of made the founders, think about the Constitution. Also, the Articles of Confederation created too weak of a central government, so that was another big influence on the creation of or approach to the Constitution. The next one right here, what is the preamble and what was its purpose? That's the introduction to the Constitution. It explains why the Constitution was written and spells out the purpose of our government. Part C right here, what is covered in each of the 7 articles. We've kind of already gone over that, but I'll do it again. Article 1 is the legislative branch. Article 2 talks about the executive branch. Article 3 refers to the judicial branch. Article 4 states it is about states' relationships. Article 5 is the amendment process. Article 6 is talking about national supremacy and how the national government is supreme. And Article 7 talks about ratification of the Constitution. Part D right here. What are amendments and how many times has the Constitution been amended? Amendments are changes in the Constitution, and there has been 27 amendments or 27 changes. A right here, these are principles. Again, these are principles. What way does the Constitution reflect the founders' strongly held beliefs about the purpose of government and the rights of the governed? It's talking about how the Constitution is going to establish limited government, and it also says that power shall be shared between the national government and the state government. That's also known as federalism. And it divides the national government into 3 branches. It protects our rights and balances our rights with the pursuit of the public good. Remember, the rights of the majority cannot infringe on the rights of the minority. Then Part B, right here. What is one way in which the Constitution limits the power of the national government? One way is it specifies the powers of the national government, but also those things that the national government is prohibited from doing. C, what is the relationship between all levels of government in the federal system? The power is divided among all levels of governments, national, state, and local. This allows the national, government to act on issues affecting the country as a whole, but leaving state and local governments to act on local matters. Part D, the power of the national government is divided among what 3 branches? Legislative, executive, and judicial. Part E, what is the purpose of the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, and what are these called? The Bill of Rights, and these protect individuals from government overreach. Now let's go to guided reading lesson 2, the 3 branches of government. Let's see. The national government was one of the most persuasive arguments for the Constitution in the Federalist Papers. Probably the most persuasive argument was talking about how it balances the power between the states and national government, and how it also will created the 3 branches of government to divide the powers so that one person or a small group cannot have absolute power. B right here, how did the founders use separate branches to create limited government? They assigned each branch different powers and gave each branch ways to check the powers of the other branches. Part 2, which is, I guess, Part 2A. What is the responsibility of the legislative branch, and how did the founders prevent the legislative branch from abusing its powers? They are responsible for passing laws, but the founders took, very great detailed steps to prevent abuse. It gives Congress limited and express powers, or powers directly stated in the Constitution. We'll go over many of those powers later. Okay. I'm on B. Yeah. Okay. What are some examples of Congress's enumerated powers? They include economic matters, the power to tax, the power to borrow money, to coin money, to punish counterfeiters, to regulate commerce or economics. They can issue national defenses. They can declare war. They can raise and support the armed forces. They can organize a militia, and the power to naturalize citizens and establish post offices and courts. Many, many, many enumerated powers. Remember, you need to remember those. Part 3, the executive branch. What is the function of the executive departments, federal agencies, boards, commissions, corporations, and advisory boards? The executive department, as well as all those agencies, boards, commissions, government corporations, and advisory boards, they have to assist the president in carrying out his or her responsibilities. And B, right there, what specific powers are given to the president under the Constitution. He has the power to grant pardons, makes treaties and agreements, appoints ambassadors, Supreme Court justices he can appoint, he can fire officials, take emergency actions for the nation, and he serves as commander-in-chief. The judicial branch, what courts were established by the Constitution? It established the federal court system and has the Supreme Court as the highest court, and there's other inferior federal courts. Judicial review, what is it? Judicial review is the power of the courts to interpret the Constitution and overturn laws that violate it. America, government, then and now. You know what? We're not going to do those or the summary right there. So let's move on. Part 3. Guided reading. The Constitution is a flexible, enduring document, in part because of the amendment process. Amendments may be proposed by a 2/3 vote of the House and Senate or by 2/3 of the states asking Congress to call a convention. Right here, proposed amendments must be ratified by 3/4 of the states, either through state legislatures or through special state conventions. Here's the next detail. The first 10 amendments are Bill of Rights. The First Amendment protects the right of Americans to worship as they please and protects the freedom of speech, of the press, and the right of the people to assemble and petition the government. Right here, the Second Amendment ensures citizens the right to bear arms or own weapons, while the Third Amendment protects these people from being forced to shelter shoulders in their homes. The Fourth Amendment is this right here. This protects Americans' privacy by limiting the government's power to conduct search and seizures without reasonable bias, called probable cause. 5, 6, 7, 8 amendments provide protections and rights for persons accused of crimes. The Ninth Amendment prevents the government from limiting people's rights to only those in the Bill of Rights. And the 10th Amendment says that powers not given to the federal government are retained by the state or the people. State or the people. Right here, let's skip to this one here, the 16th Amendment. This gives gives Congress the power to levy individual income taxes. And right here, the 3 Civil War amendments. The 3 Civil War amendments, you better remember this, are 13, 14, and 15. They were to abolish slavery, protect the legal rights of free enslaved peoples. The 19th Amendment guarantees women the right to vote. And the 26th Amendment lowers the voting age to 18. Right here, we're going to number 2. The Supreme Court in the 1954 case, Brown versus the Board of Education, overturned a previous ruling when it determined this case said separate education facilities were inherently unequal and therefore unconstitutional. I know that's a lot. We've got plenty of time to get this done. Have a good day.